Hail and greetings all, Ragnarok Prepper here. I'm going to do a short video of this culinary experiment, but before I do that, I wanted to give a shout out to North Shore Preparedness for turning me on to these little kits. I've always done my fermentation using 5-gallon or 1-gallon ceramic containers, which I would just muddle out with salt and cabbage and do large batches of sauerkraut. I've always seen these kits and never was really interested until I watched his video, and the ability to make small batches and to try new things to try new things on a smaller scale is a really smart idea. So I'm going to talk about this fermentation kit here. It is a Ball Fermentation Kit. It comes with a wide mouth jar, this one has already been sterilized. It comes with a fermentation spring and a fermentation lid, which you can see the little bubbles will be able to leak out of this little lid here. And it also comes with a 2.4 ounce container of pickling salt and a little fermentation kit recipe booklet, which is actually very interesting because I was originally going to do sauerkraut, but after looking at the recipe book, which has a recipe for kimchi, fermented hot sauce, sorry about that, there we go. And then on the other side it has easy brined cucumber pickles and a sauerkraut recipe. But I was really curious about the fermented hot sauce. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create, or should I say, we're going to follow this recipe, not create an experiment, hopefully. If everything goes well, we'll find out in about 3 weeks. The first thing we need, sorry about the light, guys, are 2 cups of non chlorinated water, which means not tap water. You want to get some spring or some filtered water, distilled water, anything that isn't chlorinated. You're also going to need the Ball pickling salt, which they kindly provided for us. Not that all us canners out there don't have it anyway. You're going to need 3/4 pound of jalapenos, which for me it came out to be about 19 jalapenos, but there are various sizes, so it's very important that when you're doing fermentation that you always go by weight to properly mix the salt and brine. So I'm not going to deviate from the recipe yet. I'm going to follow it at 3/4 pound here. And then a 1/2 pound of celery heart. And several cloves of garlic, which are already mashed up in here, with the coriander seed as well. So the first thing it says to do is to make your brine, which I've done here. 2 cups of non-chlorinated water. I mixed in 1.5 tablespoons of the pickling salt. And as you can see, it's well dissolved. You don't want it clumpy. You want to make sure you get all that salt worked into the water. Then it says to mix the vegetables, garlic, and coriander in a bowl. So let's throw our jalapenos in here. It also gives you the option to seed the jalapenos, which I chose not to do because I want it to be spicy. I'm thinking if you get rid of all those seeds and the inside stems, that you're going to lose some spice, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to mix these vegetables up, and then we'll come back and pack them in the jar. Okay, now that we've mixed up the vegetables, we're going to pack them in the jar right here. And then we'll add the brine. Okay, here we are. We have all of the celery, jalapenos, coriander, and garlic in the jar. Now, I'm not going to lie to you here. It doesn't mention in the recipe that you're going to need to use a muddle stick, but it's really nice if you have one. And literally, it can be anything. I didn't feel like going out to get the Crocs and get my muddle stick, so I just use my wooden spoon here. And essentially, all you're doing is smashing the vegetables down, getting some of that juice flowing, packing it in there. And actually, my muddle stick is just a branch that fell from the maple tree out back. When I first started doing the fermentation with sauerkraut, I could not find a muddle stick anywhere, so I just made my own. Nature provided. But here we are. So the next step is to add the brine to the vegetables. So we're going to do that now, and we're just going to pour it in there. See, now what we want to remember is that we're going to need about 2 inches of headspace here to fit our spring in. So let's see, I'm going to push some of that down and we'll check where we're at. Okay, now I'm going to put the fermentation spring in and put the lid on, and then we'll check it out. Alright, here we are. I have the fermentation spring inside of the jar now, and the lid is down. The next step is to take and set it in a cool, dark place. By cool, I mean room temperature. That's actually the best for fermentation. And we'll cover it with a cloth, and then we'll check it every day for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to leave it in for 3 weeks. It says if you desire a better flavor, to do 3 weeks. It could be done in 2, but as I said, we want the stronger flavor. So I hope you enjoyed beginning this little experiment with us. I'll be sure to keep you posted when it's done, and we'll give it a taste test and see how well it worked. I think there's a lot of potential behind this little jar. I could do some wicked experiments with my ghost peppers and habaneros, but we'll start out with jalapeno and see where we go from there. I also have 30 pounds of potatoes that are going to be hopping into the canner later, so maybe we'll get some video of that as well. So this is Ragnarok Prepper. Until next we meet, be well.